I'm here today with Sylvia Nasar, the author of Grand Pursuit, the story of economic genius. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Your book starts in the holidays. Charles Dickens is your first economist.
That's right. And Charles Dickens was going to write a pamphlet, on behalf of the poor who were out of work and suffering from hunger in the early 1840s. But he realized, like the great journalist and writer that he was, that a story would be more effective. So he wrote The Christmas Carol, which was an attack on the pessimistic, fatalistic economics that said that the interest of working people and employers were diametrically opposed, and that said that the bulk of the population, the 9 parts of all mankind, had no hope of ever raising their living standards beyond subsistence for long. He believed otherwise, and that's why he wrote The Christmas Carol. A story about conversion, winning someone over to a more expansive and more cheerful point of view. So he's attacking the dismal part of economics. So he was suggesting that we needed a new economics. All kinds of intellectuals agreed with Dickens and tried, like Henry Mayhew, tried to invent this new economics. They didn't succeed until Alfred Marshall came along in the 1860s. Alfred Marshall, like many of the protagonists in the book, does not set out to become an economist. He wants to do philosophy, psychology, something very rarefied. But then along comes a recession in 1867, and Marshall is asking, why is there so much poverty amid so much wealth?
It's kind of like what they say at Occupy Wall Street right now.
Yes. That's right. That's right. That's exactly, that was his question. And he goes up to the Scottish Highlands on his annual sort of hike, with his rucksack full of books by Kafka. And he stops off in Manchester, walks around looking into the faces of the poor, and asks, why cannot every man be a gentleman? Okay? Which was a very radical thing to think in 1867 because if you've read like Great Expectations, the character Pip has this great secret to confide in his little playmate friend, and the secret is that he has a dream of becoming a gentleman. And it's so out there, it's so crazy because,
as the British say, it's just not done.
It's just not done. That Dickens has to invent a plot that involves pirates and Moors and secret inheritances to make Pip a gentleman, because nobody thought of a mass escape from these lives of drudgery and extreme poverty. So Marshall is encouraged by his older and wiser friends to learn a little, economics. And he does, and he's very impressed by the powerful reasoning of Smith and Malthus and Mill, but he's a mathematician. And he also sees that they're making assumptions that no longer seem to be true. In particular, that the founders of political economy have assumed that certain things that are frozen and immutable that Marshall sees are in flux. For example, the tremendous technological progress, rising productivity. So there was a mechanism, in the sort of core of this new commercial society that was driving, that tended to drive living standards higher, and it was productivity, which completely overturned the notion that the bottom 9/10 of humanity was destined to, live at subsistence, basically.